The massive warship Dreadspine hung in the darkness of space like a predator waiting to strike. Its sharp, angular hull gleamed under the distant starlight, covered in battle scars that told tales of countless victories. On the command bridge, Commander Stone stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his scaled skin reflecting the soft blue glow of the ship's instruments. "Report," he ordered, his deep voice echoing across the bridge. The commander's yellow eyes fixed on the small blip that had appeared on their long-range scanners. Officer Reed, his sensor specialist, worked quickly at his station. "Unknown vessel, Commander. Configuration suggests Earth origin. Small research vessel, crew of 20. He paused, his clawed fingers tapping across the console. "But sir, there's something strange about their weapons signature." Stone moved closer, his heavy footsteps making the deck plates vibrate. "Explain." "They appear mostly unarmed, sir. No energy weapons, no missile banks." Reed's forked tongue flicked out nervously. "But there's one reading that doesn't make sense. We're detecting what appears to be a biological combat unit aboard." This caught Stone's attention. His species, the Vardens, had heard rumors about Earth and its inhabitants. Humans were known to be unpredictable, but keeping biological weapons. That seemed unusually aggressive for a research vessel. "Show me the scan patterns," Stone commanded. The main view screen lit up with a complex array of data. There, among the regular life signs of the human crew, was something different, something that made Stone's scales bristle. "The genetic markers are clear, sir," Reed continued. "Whatever they have aboard shows signs of being an apex predator. Enhanced speed, strength, and endurance capabilities. It appears to be some sort of evolved hunter." Stone's second-in-command, Officer Blake, stepped forward. "Commander, this could be a violation of the new space treaty. Biological weapons are strictly forbidden in neutral space." The commander nodded slowly. The humans were either very brave or very foolish to venture into this sector with such a weapon. Either way, he needed to know more. "Open a communication channel," Stone ordered. The bridge crew worked quickly, and soon the main screen showed the interior of the human vessel. A man in a blue uniform stood at attention, his face calm despite facing a warship 3 times the size of his vessel. "This is Captain Walker of the Earth research vessel Pioneer. We come in peace and are conducting authorized scientific surveys in this sector." Stone studied the human carefully. They always looked so soft, with their smooth skin and rounded features. How could such creatures dare to carry weapons of war into his territory? "Captain Walker," Stone's voice rumbled. "Our scans have detected a biological combat unit aboard your vessel. Explain yourself immediately." The human captain's face showed surprise, then confusion. "I'm sorry, Commander, but there must be some mistake. We're an unarmed research vessel." "Do not attempt to deceive us," Stone growled. "Our sensors are quite clear. You are harboring a predator species, one bred for combat. As per Section 7 of the new Space Treaty, I demand you surrender this weapon immediately." A strange sound came from somewhere off-screen, a sort of cheerful bark, and Captain Walker's eyes widened in understanding. "Oh, you must be detecting Max. But Commander, there's been a misunderstanding. Max isn't a weapon, he's just our ship's companion animal." Stone's crew exchanged confused looks. Companion. Animal. The concept seemed absurd. "You expect us to believe you keep a predator as a companion?" "Yes, exactly," Walker nodded. "He's what we call a dog. They've been human companions for thousands of years. He's completely harmless." Another bark sounded, and Stone's security team instinctively raised their weapons. "Enough games, Captain," Stone declared. "You will allow us to board your vessel and inspect this Max immediately, or we will consider this an act of aggression." Walker sighed but maintained his diplomatic smile. "Very well, Commander. We'll prepare for your inspection team. But I warn you, you might be a bit surprised by what you find." As Stone ended the transmission, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. In all his years of service, He'd never encountered humans keeping predators as companions. It had to be a trick, and he was going to find out exactly what these humans were hiding. The docking procedure between the massive Dreadspine and the smaller research vessel took exactly 20 minutes. Commander Stone stood at the airlock's entrance, flanked by 6 heavily armed guards. Their armor gleamed under the harsh lighting, weapons held ready for any sign of trouble. "Remember," Stone addressed his boarding team, "whatever this Max creature is, it was bred from apex predators. Take no chances." The airlock cycled with a soft hiss. As the doors slid open, they were met by Captain Walker and 2 of his crew members. The human captain looked oddly relaxed for someone supposedly hiding a weapon of war. "Welcome aboard the Pioneer, Commander," Walker said with a smile. "Though I must say, all these weapons seem a bit excessive for meeting a ship's pet." Stone ignored the comment. His eyes scanned the corridor, and his sensitive ears picked up a strange scratching sound from somewhere deeper in the ship. "Where is the beast?" "Max is in the recreation room," Walker explained, starting to lead the way. "We thought it would be best to meet him in an open space. Though I should warn you, he gets excited around new people." The alien commander's hand tightened on his weapon. "Excited? Is that a threat, Captain?" Walker actually chuckled, which made Stone's scales bristle with irritation. "Not at all. He just really likes making new friends." As they walked through the ship's corridors, Stone's security officer whispered readings from a handheld scanner. "Sir, the biological signatures are getting stronger. Whatever it is, it's moving around in there." They reached a set of double doors marked Recreation Room. Stone positioned his guard strategically before nodding to Walker. "Open it. Just try not to shoot him, okay?" Walker requested. "He's really just a big softy." The doors slid open to reveal a large room with scattered furniture, exercise equipment, and what appeared to be some kind of yellow ball on the floor. But no beast. Stone's eyes narrowed. "Where is?" A series of rapid clicks interrupted him as something came bounding around a corner. Stone's guards raised their weapons, but before they could fire, Captain Walker stepped between them. "Max, sit," Walker commanded. To Stone's utter amazement, the creature, covered in golden fur and sporting a wildly wagging tail, dropped its hindquarters to the floor immediately. Its tongue lolled out in what Stone's xenobiologist would later explain was a sign of happiness, not aggression. This is your weapon?" Stone asked in disbelief. "This is our dog," Walker corrected. "Max, say hello." The dog let out a cheerful woof that made half the alien guards jump. One of them accidentally fired his weapon, the energy bolt hitting a wall far above Max's head. Instead of attacking, the dog just tilted his head curiously at the light show. "Your guards are making him a bit nervous," Walker noted as Max scooted closer to him. "Maybe if you all lowered your weapons." Stone watched in fascination as the supposedly deadly Earth predator pressed against Walker's legs, looking up at the humans with complete trust and affection. It made no logical sense to the commander. "Our scans showed predator genetics," Stone insisted. "Enhanced strength, speed, endurance." "Well, yes," Walker agreed. "Dogs were bred from wolves thousands of years ago. They're technically predators, but we've been selectively breeding them as companions for millennia. They're loyal, friendly, and incredibly good at reading human emotions. Max here is a golden retriever, one of the gentlest breeds we have." As if to prove the point, Max flopped onto his back, exposing his belly in what was clearly a vulnerable position. Stone's security team looked thoroughly confused. "You deliberately bred a predator species to be non-aggressive?" Stone asked, his understanding of humans shifting dramatically. "Not just non-aggressive," Walker explained, kneeling to rub Max's belly, making the dog's leg kick happily. "We bred them to be our friends, our helpers, and our companions. They guard our homes, help us hunt, guide our blind, and most importantly, give us unconditional love." Stone watched this display with growing fascination. In all his years of space exploration, he'd never encountered a species that had taken a natural predator and, through patience and selective breeding, turned it into something that showed such obvious joy and affection. Perhaps, Stone said slowly, lowering his weapon, we should discuss this concept of pets further. The recreation room of the Pioneer had become an impromptu classroom for interspecies understanding. Commander Stone sat rigidly in a chair that seemed too small for his large frame, while Max lay nearby, happily chewing on a rubber toy that squeaked with each bite. And you say all dogs come from these wolves? Stone asked, watching Max with a mixture of curiosity and lingering suspicion. Captain Walker nodded, pulling up images on a tablet. This is what wolves look like in the wild. The screen showed fierce predators with sharp teeth and powerful bodies. Over thousands of years, humans selectively bred them, choosing the friendliest ones generation after generation. Stone's security officer, who had been inching closer to Max for the past 10 minutes, jumped back when the dog suddenly sneezed. But why would you want to keep predators close to you? Watch this, Walker said with a smile. He pulled a tennis ball from his pocket. Max's ears immediately perked up, and his tail began wagging furiously. Max, want the ball? The dog jumped to his feet, entire body wiggling with excitement. Walker tossed the ball across the room, and Max bounded after it, bringing it back and dropping it at Walker's feet with a proud woof. This makes no tactical sense, Stone muttered. You've taken a hunter's retrieving instinct and turned it into a game. Exactly. Walker picked up the ball again. Max, bring it to our new friend. To Stone's alarm, the golden retriever trotted over to him and gently placed the tennis ball in his lap. Then Max sat down, tail sweeping the floor, looking up at the alien commander with hopeful eyes. He wants me to throw it, Stone asked uncertainly. That's right. Just pick it up and toss it anywhere in the room. Stone's scaled fingers carefully lifted the slobbery ball. Max's tail wagged faster, with a movement that suggested he was handling an explosive device. Stone tossed the ball a short distance. Max joyfully retrieved it and brought it right back to Stone, not Walker. The commander's eyes widened in surprise. He's chosen you as his new playing partner, Walker explained, grinning. Dogs are incredibly good at making friends. They can usually tell when someone needs to relax a little. One of the alien guards snickered, then quickly tried to hide it with a cough when Stone glared in his direction. But the commander's expression softened as he looked back at Max's eager face. On our world, Stone said, absently throwing the ball again, we believe that predators can only be controlled through force or fear, the idea of friendship with one. He trailed off as Max returned, this time pushing his head under Stone's hand. Walker smiled. He wants you to pet him. Like this. The captain demonstrated by scratching behind Max's ears, making the dog close his eyes in contentment. Stone hesitantly copied the motion. His scaled hand looked strange against Max's soft fur, but the dog leaned into the touch, clearly enjoying it. Remarkable, Stone murmured. He shows no fear of our appearance. Our species must seem very alien to him. Dogs are special that way, Walker explained. They judge others by actions, not appearances. Max can sense that you're not going to hurt him, so he's happy to be your friend. The next hour passed with Stone and his crew learning more about Earth's canine companions. They watched in amazement as Max performed basic commands like sit, stay, and shake hands. The security team was particularly impressed by how the dog could be both playful and gentle, never using his teeth or claws aggressively. And you say there are many types of these dogs? Stone asked, now comfortably scratching Max's belly as the dog lay contentedly at his feet. Hundreds of breeds, Walker confirmed. Some are tiny enough to fit in your hand. Others are bigger than Max. Each breed was developed for different purposes: hunting, herding, protection, or just companionship. Stone looked down at Max, who gazed back with complete trust in his brown eyes. Perhaps, the commander said slowly, we have much to learn from humanity's approach to other species. Instead of seeking to dominate through force, you chose to build bonds of friendship. That's humanity at its best, Walker agreed. We look at something fierce and see the potential for kindness. Sometimes, the strongest weapons aren't weapons at all. They're friends we haven't made yet. As if understanding the importance of the moment, Max let out a gentle woof and rolled over for more belly rubs. News of the strange Earth creature spread quickly through the Dreadspine's crew. Commander Stone had returned to his ship with an unusual request. He wanted to set up a proper meeting between his entire command staff and the human's dog. This led to the current scene in the Dreadspine's largest conference room, where 20 high-ranking alien officers sat stiffly in their chairs, watching Max trot around the room with unconcealed fascination. The beast seems smaller in here, Officer Reed whispered to his companion. Less threatening than our scan suggested. Captain Walker stood at the front of the room, with Max sitting obediently beside him. Commander Stone had positioned himself halfway between his crew and the humans, acting as a bridge between the two species. Today, Stone announced, we will learn about one of humanity's most significant achievements, their ability to turn enemies into allies through patience and kindness. He nodded to Walker. Captain, please proceed with the demonstration. Walker pulled out a small bag of treats from his pocket. The sound of the bag crinkling made Max's ears perk up immediately. Several alien officers reached for their weapons, but Stone raised a hand to stop them. Watch closely, Walker said. Max, shake hands. The golden retriever raised his paw politely. Walker took it, gave it a gentle shake, and rewarded Max with a treat. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the alien crowd. Would anyone like to try? Walker asked. The room fell silent. Finally, a young communications officer named Spark raised her hand. As she approached Max, her scaled tail twitched nervously. Just hold out your hand, Walker encouraged. Max, shake. Max happily extended his paw to Spark. The moment their hands, one furry, one scaled, touched, something remarkable happened. Spark let out a chirping sound that her species used to express delight. He's warm, she exclaimed, and so gentle. More officers began volunteering. Soon, Max was showing off his full repertoire of tricks, sitting, staying, rolling over, and playing dead. Each demonstration was met with increasing enthusiasm from the alien crew. But what about his hunting instincts? Asked the ship's security chief. Surely they cannot be completely suppressed. Walker smiled and pulled out Max's favorite toy, a stuffed rabbit. Max, get the bunny. Max pounced on the toy with playful enthusiasm, making several aliens jump. But instead of tearing it apart, he simply pranced around the room with it, occasionally squeaking it and wagging his tail. You see, Walker explained, we didn't suppress his instincts. We redirected them into play. The chase, the catch, the retrieve. It's all still there, but without any aggression. Commander Stone watched his crew's reactions carefully. He saw the moment when understanding began to dawn in their eyes. These humans hadn't created a weapon. They'd done something far more impressive. They'd taken the raw material of nature, and through generations of care and selective breeding, created something new. A bridge between species. Sir, one of the younger officers spoke up. Do you think, could we perhaps have dogs on our ships too? The question caught Stone off guard. He looked at Max, who was now lying on his back, while 3 alien officers tentatively rubbed his belly, their usual military discipline forgotten in the face of such unconditional friendliness. That's actually an interesting possibility, Walker said. On Earth, dogs serve many important roles on ships. They boost crew morale, provide companionship during long voyages, and some are even trained to detect equipment malfunctions by smell. By smell? Stone asked, intrigued. Their noses are incredibly sensitive. They can detect changes in machinery, electrical problems, even hull breaches before our instruments sometimes. The practical benefits caught the attention of even the most skeptical officers. Stone could see his crew already imagining how such companions might improve life aboard the Dreadspine. Perhaps, Stone said thoughtfully, we should discuss establishing a cultural exchange program. Our species could learn much from humanity's approach to— What did you call it, Captain? Domestication, Walker replied. But really, it's just friendship across species lines. As if to emphasize the point, Max chose that moment to rest his head on Stone's lap, looking up at the commander with trusting eyes. Stone found himself automatically reaching down to scratch behind the dog's ears, just as Walker had taught him. Friendship across species lines, Stone repeated softly. Yes, I believe we have much to learn indeed. The meeting between the human and alien crews was going better than anyone could have expected, largely thanks to Max's cheerful diplomacy. The Golden Retriever had won over most of the Dreadspine's command staff, and even the most serious officers found themselves smiling at his antics. Everything changed when the ship's emergency alarm suddenly blared to life. Red lights flashed across the conference room as Officer Reed's voice came through the speakers. Commander, unknown vessels approaching at high speed. 3 ships, heavily armed. The relaxed atmosphere vanished instantly. The alien officers snapped to attention, and Commander Stone's expression hardened. Pirates, he growled. They've been getting bolder in this sector. Captain Walker looked concerned. We should return to our ship. No time, Stone replied, checking the tactical display. Those ships will reach us in minutes. Your vessel would be an easy target if you tried to leave now. He turned to his crew. Battle stations. In the chaos that followed, everyone had forgotten about Max, until the dog started barking urgently at the conference room's ventilation shaft. Quiet that beast, someone shouted, but Walker held up his hand, recognizing Max's behavior. Wait, Walker said sharply. That's his warning bark. Something's wrong. Commander Stone was about to dismiss this when his tactical officer burst into the room. Sir, we're detecting transport signatures. They're trying to board us through the maintenance shafts. Max continued barking at the vent, his usual playful demeanor replaced with alert vigilance. Stone looked at the dog with new understanding. He heard them coming through the vents, Stone realized, before our sensors even detected them. Dogs have incredible hearing, Walker explained quickly, and they can sense danger. The vent cover suddenly burst open, and 3 armed figures in dark armor dropped into the room. The pirates had chosen the conference room specifically because it showed the largest concentration of officer signatures. What happened next surprised everyone. Max, the friendly dog who had spent hours giving gentle handshakes and belly rubs, transformed into a furry guardian. He placed himself between the pirates and the unarmed officers, his bark now deep and commanding. The first pirate hesitated, thrown off by the unexpected creature. What in space is that? One pirate asked, pointing his weapon uncertainly. That moment of confusion was all the time Commander Stone and his security team needed. They drew their hidden backup weapons and surrounded the intruders. The pirates, caught between angry alien officers and a barking dog, quickly surrendered. Good boy, Max, Walker praised, and just like that, the Golden Retriever switched back to his friendly self, tail wagging as he accepted a treat. The pirate leader stared in disbelief. That's what had our boarding team spooked. Some furry creature. That furry creature just helped us capture you without a single shot fired, Stone pointed out. His warning saved lives. He looked at Max with newfound respect. Captain Walker, you said dogs serve many purposes on Earth. Walker nodded, scratching Max's ears. Protection is one of them. Not through aggression, but through alertness and loyalty. Max isn't trained as a guard dog, but all dogs naturally want to protect their friends, and he now considers your crew his friends. The crisis was quickly contained. The Dreadspine's superior firepower convinced the other pirate ships to surrender, and the boarding teams were caught easily now that their surprise advantage was lost. Throughout the cleanup, Max stayed close to the crew, occasionally checking on everyone with a friendly nuzzle. Later, in Stone's private office, the commander made an unexpected request. "Captain Walker," he said formally, "I would like to propose an official addition to the Human-Varden Cooperation Treaty." He paused, looking slightly embarrassed. "We would like to request the establishment of what did you call it? A K9 program for our fleet." Walker smiled. "You want dogs on your ships? After today's demonstration, how could we not? Their enhanced senses, their protective instincts, their ability to boost crew morale. They're perfect for space travel." Stone looked down at Max, who had fallen asleep under his desk. "And perhaps our species could learn something about trust and friendship from them." "I think that can be arranged," Walker agreed. "Though I should warn you, once you let dogs into your life, things will never be the same." Stone watched Max's peaceful sleeping form and smiled. "Good," he said simply. "That's exactly what we need." 3 months after the pirate incident, the Dreadspine had changed in ways that would have been unimaginable to its crew before. Commander Stone stood in the newly constructed K9 Training Center, watching as the first group of Varden officers worked with their Earthborn partners. "Sit," Officer Spark commanded, and her black Labrador, Luma, immediately dropped her hindquarters to the deck. "Good girl," she chirped, offering a treat exactly as their human trainers had taught them. The Earth delegation, led by Captain Walker and Max, had stayed on to help establish the Varden K9 program. Max, now something of a celebrity among the crew, wandered between the training sessions, offering friendly encouragement to both dogs and aliens alike. "I never thought I'd see the day," Stone commented to Walker as they observed the training. "Our most disciplined warriors, making baby noises at Earth animals." Walker laughed as they watched a massive Varden security officer gently toss a ball for his German Shepherd puppy. Dogs have a way of breaking down barriers. They don't care about rank or species. They just want to love and be loved. The ship's intercom crackled to life. "Commander to the bridge. Weekly patrol report ready for review." "Come along," Stone said to Walker. "You'll want to see this." As they walked through the corridors, they passed several crew members with their canine partners. Each dog wore a special spacesuit vest, designed by human and Varden engineers working together. The vests included emergency oxygen systems and magnetic paw pads for zero-gravity situations. On the bridge, Officer Reed sat at his station with his beagle, Scout, sleeping in a specially designed bed nearby. The small dog's nose twitched occasionally in his sleep, always alert for unusual scents even while resting. "Report," Stone commanded, settling into his chair. Max trotted over to his usual spot beside the command seat, where someone had placed a cushion decorated with little bones. "Scout detected a minor coolant leak in engineering this morning," Reed reported proudly. "We fixed it before it showed up on any instruments, and Luna's team caught a smuggler trying to hide contraband in a cargo shipment. She smelled it right through the sealed containers." Stone nodded approvingly. The dogs had more than proved their worth as crew members. Beyond their practical abilities, they had brought something else to the ship, something the Vardens hadn't realized they were missing. "There's more," Reed continued, but paused as Scout suddenly perked up, nose working overtime. The beagle jumped down from his bed and trotted to a control panel, pawing at it gently. "Good boy," Reed praised, checking the panel. "Commander, Scout's detecting an odd odor from the environmental systems." Walker watched with interest as the crew immediately acted on the dog's warning, running diagnostics that would have been routine maintenance in another few days. "They trust their canine partners completely now," he observed. "We've learned that trust must be earned," Stone replied, reaching down to scratch Max behind the ears, a gesture that had become almost automatic, and these Earth companions have earned it many times over. A junior officer approached with a datapad, her collie walking perfectly at heel beside her. "Sir, the latest training reports. We're seeing a 40% improvement in crew morale since the K9 program began. Stress levels are down, and efficiency is up in all departments." "Not surprising," Walker said, Dogs have been helping humans deal with the challenges of space travel for generations. They remind us to take breaks, force us to stick to routines, and give us emotional support during long missions. Stone looked around his bridge. Where once there had been only the quiet efficiency of a warship, now there was something more. The crew moved with the same discipline, but their faces were lighter, more relaxed. The dogs had brought a balance they hadn't known they needed. We came looking for weapons, Stone mused, watching Max and Scout play quietly in a corner. Instead, we found partners, teachers even. He turned to Walker. Your species gave us more than just companions, Captain. You showed us a different way of looking at the universe. Walker smiled as Max brought a toy to Stone, tail wagging hopefully. That's what dogs do best. They don't just adapt to our world. They help us build a better one. Stone took the toy and threw it, watching Max bound after it with joy. Around the bridge, both humans and Vardens smiled at the sight. In that moment, the differences between their species seemed very small indeed. 1 year after the first meeting between Max and the Dreadspine's crew, the massive warship hung in orbit around Earth. This time, it wasn't alone. A dozen other Varden vessels floated nearby, each carrying their own complement of canine crew members. Commander Stone stood in the observation deck, watching the blue planet below. Max sat beside him, older but still bright-eyed, while Captain Walker approached with a datapad. The first graduating class of the Interstellar K9 Academy, Walker announced proudly. 200 dogs matched with Varden crews, ready for deployment. Stone nodded, remembering how it all began with a single misunderstanding about a combat beast, and to think we almost started a diplomatic incident over Max here. Through the large windows, they could see shuttles moving between ships, carrying new dogs to their assigned vessels. Each canine had been specially trained for space operations, yet they remained true to their loving nature. Commander, Officer Reed called from the doorway. The High Council's shuttle is approaching. They're eager to see the graduation ceremony. Stone straightened his uniform. The presence of the Varden High Council showed just how important the K9 program had become. Very well. Max, shall we show them how far we've come? The golden retriever barked happily and fell into step beside Stone. They made their way to the ship's new main ceremony hall, where rows of Varden officers sat with their dogs. The sight would have been unbelievable a year ago. Fierce warrior aliens sitting calmly with Earth pets at their feet. The High Council members entered, their elaborate robes sweeping the deck. They paused in surprise at the sight of so many dogs, but Max quickly broke the ice by trotting up to them with a friendly wag of his tail. The one who started it all, Stone explained to the council. Maximum Security Override. Max for short. Though we quickly learned he was anything but a security threat. The ceremony began with demonstrations. The gathered audience watched in amazement as dogs and Vardens worked together, showing off their skills in everything from maintenance inspections to emergency responses. Scout, Reed's Beagle, demonstrated how to detect hull breaches. Luna, Spark's Labrador, showed how dogs helped with zero-gravity rescue operations. But perhaps most importantly, Stone addressed the council. They've taught us something we never expected to learn from Earth. He paused, looking at Max. They've taught us that strength isn't always about weapons or force. Sometimes it's about having the courage to trust, to show kindness, and to accept friendship wherever we find it. One of the council members, an ancient Varden with battle-scarred scales, raised his hand. And what happens when these dogs reach the end of their lives? They live far shorter than we do. A somber mood fell over the room. It was something everyone had thought about, but tried not to dwell on. Walker stepped forward. That's actually led to one of our most meaningful traditions. He activated a wall display, showing a special section of the Dreadspine's memorial wall. We honor them as crew members, because that's what they are. Their paw prints are preserved, their names remembered. Stone added, and while we grieve their passing, we celebrate what they've given us. A new way of seeing the universe. Each new pup carries forward that legacy of trust and friendship. The ceremony concluded with a tradition that had started with Max, a game of fetch involving the entire crew. The council watched in astonishment as dignified warriors threw balls and praised their dogs with genuine joy. Later, as the celebration wound down, Stone found himself back on the observation deck with Walker and Max. "Did you ever imagine," Walker asked, "when we first met, and you were demanding we hand over our combat beast, that it would lead to all this?" Stone laughed, a sound that had become much more common over the past year. "Never. But then again, Max here has always been full of surprises." Max wagged his tail at hearing his name, then brought his favorite ball to Stone. The commander took it with a smile. "You know," Stone said thoughtfully, "in all our years of space exploration, we searched for powerful weapons, advanced technology, tactical advantages. Yet the most powerful thing we found was something so simple, the friendship of an Earth dog." He threw the ball one more time, watching Max bound after it with the same enthusiasm he'd shown a year ago. Around them, Earth glowed blue and peaceful, while Vardan ships carried their new canine crew members to the stars. Sometimes, Stone reflected, the greatest discoveries aren't what you're looking for at all. Sometimes, they come wagging their tail and asking to play fetch.